Man, listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. I see the water. I know who the number one fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
They're not the same size. Terrence Crawford used to be a small guy. Now he's grown into what will be about a 154-pounder, I'd imagine. They'd fight around 154, 160. They should have fought. By the time Terrence Crawford and Canelo fight, Bud will be 36, Canelo will be 34 years old. Now, I'm not saying those guys are done. By no means. They're still the two best boxers in the world. But imagine if we got those guys in their late 20s, right? Or 3 to 4 years ago.
Daniel Cormier has just shared bombshells about the battle between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. However, Daniel Cormier also stated that, while some think the battle between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is coming too late, both fighters are still in peak condition. Crawford is perfect, with 41 wins and 31 knockouts, and he has world titles in for weight classes: lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, and super welterweight. Crawford is going up from 154 pounds to meet Canelo, whereas Canelo has previously fought at 175 pounds. Cormier initially thought the fight would take place at 154 pounds, but he later corrected himself and stated that it is actually scheduled at 168 pounds.
Where I believe we are going to be saved in this regard. They're just as good as they've always been. Crawford is 41-0, 31 KOs. Going up to 154, going to fight Canelo at 154. He's won world titles at lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, and super welterweight. So he's been a champion everywhere. But Bud's going to make Canelo fight at 54. I don't know that Canelo's been fighting at 54 for a while. Remember all those b-ball fights? Remember like 175 for Canelo Alvarez. They're two of the best boxers in the world. They're not... Oh, sorry. They're going to fight at 168. Yes. Canelo's been fighting up at like 175. Crawford going up from 154 to fight him at 168.
Cormier thinks that despite their ages, Crawford is 36 and Canelo is 34, they are still in their athletic prime. He pointed out that most recent UFC champions are beyond the age of 30, so being in their mid-30s does not mean they are past their prime. He praised both boxers as amazing and still among the best in the world. He thinks the struggle is taking place at the appropriate time.
Not over the hill at all. These are phenomenal fighters. They're both still in their prime. Most UFC champions aren't even under 30. I don't know that we have one under 30 male champion right now. So they're in their athletic prime, right? 30 to 35.
Rolly Romero, on the other hand, stated his honest opinion regarding the impending Terrence Crawford vs. Canelo Alvarez fight, stating that he does not care for it. He agreed that weight classifications exist for a reason and attacked Crawford's choice to move up many divisions to face a top pound-for-pound boxer like Canelo. Romero stated that, while Crawford is a terrific and skilled fighter, he finds him boring and uninteresting outside of the ring, making it difficult for him to get enthusiastic about Crawford's matches.
Weight divisions for a reason, right or wrong?
Right. Manny Pacquiao, bro.
Okay.
What's your take on Manny?
Well, Pacquiao didn't move up 3 weight divisions at once.
Okay.
Fight a pound-for-pound fighter.
Okay, so Canelo's got it. How does Canelo get it done?
I don't know, man. It might be the boringest fight ever. It might be the best fight ever. But I will tell you this. It's not a fight I truly care about. Crawford's not really entertaining. So I don't really care about who he fights. But I will tell you like this. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a great fighter. But he's not really entertaining outside the ring. There's nothing that makes me want to be like, I can't wait to see the next Terrence Crawford fight.
Furthermore, Virgil Ortiz claimed that if Terrence Crawford were active, he would be ranked as the best boxer. However, because Crawford is unable to return at this time, other opponents, such as Murdo, must step in. He stated that Murdo and other great fighters are challenging in their own distinct ways, making it difficult to compare or rank them fairly. Ortiz reiterated that he isn't waiting for anyone and is ready to fight anyone is available, promising that there will still be great matches and that fans will be pleased with what comes next.
I would put Crawford #1, but he's obviously not coming back. So it would just be Marzalio or Fundora. But I think they're both difficult in their own right because they're both completely different fighters. So I can't, it's not really fair to rank them. You know what I mean? but they're both equally, in my opinion, they're kind of equally hard fighters, difficult fighters. But that being said, it's just we're gonna fight whoever's available. We're not gonna wait for anyone. There's still gonna be good fights. And the fans are gonna be very happy.
However, Daniel Cormier says Canelo Alvarez isn't as sharp as he was when he fought at 154 or 160 pounds. He thinks Canelo has grown and gained muscle, which may have affected his performance marginally. Nonetheless, Cormier thinks this bout will be a blockbuster event, with one of the highest pay-per-view numbers ever.
Canelo has gotten, he's not as good as he was when he was fighting at 154, 160, because he's a little bigger, carrying more muscle, but I think it's going to be a blockbuster event. It's going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views we've ever seen. It's going to be highly competitive, and I do believe that that added element.
He also stated that the promotion of Dana White TKO and Riyadh season will create additional hype and global interest. Cormier claimed that Allegiant Stadium will sell out and that he will sit in the front row because he does not want to miss it. He also commended Terence Crawford, calling him a nice guy and noting that his boys are great wrestlers and athletes. He knows Crawford from the wrestling scene and sees how enthusiastic he is about this fight.
He's going to be promoting. That Riyadh season is going to be promoting. It's going to make more people tap in to what's going on in this big fight. They're going to sell out Allegiant Stadium. I'm going to be there front row. I'm not missing this. Terence Crawford is a great guy. His sons are tremendous wrestlers, boxers. They do everything. I know Terence from the wrestling. I know how motivated he is to fight this fight. I know that Canelo Alvarez.
Furthermore, Bozianis showed high trust in Terence Crawford's chances of defeating Canelo Alvarez. He praised Crawford's fast movement, fluid boxing, and striking precision, saying that he will not be passive like William Skull, but will engage and apply pressure. He has stressed Crawford's tenacity and grit, which have been formed by his upbringing, and has stated that his ability to adjust under duress might provide significant challenges for Canelo inside the ring.
I think, like I said, Terence got a great chance to beat him, man. You know what I mean? Terence can box, Terence can move, Terence can punch. You know what I mean? Terence ain't gonna be doing like Skull. Terence gonna fight you. You know what I mean? He's Terence from the streets, man. You know what I mean? He know what to do. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. I think he's gonna wind up frustrating Canelo.
Ennis also suggested that Crawford might possibly stop Canelo, while acknowledging the latter's known resilience. He noticed Crawford's exceptional precision and punch placement. Unlike past opponents to astute body blows, Ennis believes Crawford will approach the body purposefully. He explained that well-placed strikes downstairs could cause Canelo to lower his guard, making him exposed to clean, fight-ending punches.
Canelo, who you got? Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yeah.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should try it, test the waters, even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog, he's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Hey, let's see. Only one way to find out so that day comes.
It's the only way, but I definitely think that it's a great fight overall. You know, black and brown is how you get down.
Teofimo Lopez expressed his thoughts on the Crawford-Canelo fight, eventually picking Canelo to win. He admitted that, while Terence Crawford may have a greater ring IQ, the main factor is the size disparity, which he thinks provides Canelo an advantage. Lopez argued that Crawford should have proved himself against someone in that weight class before facing Canelo, but he also praised Crawford's strong mentality, citing an incident in which he was shot in the head and drove himself to the hospital. Despite his worries, Lopez praised the fight and stated, "Black and brown is how you get down."
Good as anyone we've seen in a long time. True legend of boxing. It's a massive fight. I hope that it can deliver what and match or exceed the expectation. You know, growing up, they always put the two best guys together when it felt like they were supposed to be together. It still feels like we haven't missed a window for these two, and I feel like this is going to be a big fight, a good fight, a fun fight, and a true competition between two of the best boxers of the entire world. So September 12th, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, promoted by Dana White, promoted by TKO, promoted by Riyadh Season. tap into Canelo Alvarez defending his Ring Magazine championship against the great Terrence Crawford. You know, I love when things come together. This is finally coming together. I believe it's going to be.
Daniel Cormier also referred to Canelo as a great boxing legend and mentioned that this will be a huge fight. He hopes it meets or beats expectations. Growing up, he recalls how the best boxers would meet at the perfect time, which he thinks is still the case here. To him, this will be a tremendous, exciting, competitive battle between two of the world's top boxers, scheduled for September 12th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
The weight won't be the factor. The factor will be how Canelo chooses to make the fight. Canelo comes out and does what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. Canelo comes out and does what he shouldn't do, Crawford wins the fight.
Moreover, Roy Jones Jr. thinks Terrence Crawford's technique is great, but Canelo Alvarez's physical strength and size. He sees Canelo as compact and powerful, not necessarily tall, but built with dense muscle, and thinks that his raw physicality will be difficult for Crawford to overcome, regardless of his technical prowess.
The thing about Canelo Alvarez is extremely hard to beat, but he's not unbeatable. Now you can say this about every fighter, but this is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is extremely hard to beat, but he's not unbeatable.
Keith Thurman lauded Canelo Alvarez for his general greatness, highlighting his defensive sharpness, punching power, excellent timing, and smooth movement. While Thurman agreed that Canelo is difficult to beat, he made it clear that he does not consider him unbeatable, leaving room for a skilled fighter like Crawford to challenge him.
If the right thing is supposed to happen every once in a while in this freaking world, which it never does, I feel like Crawford is supposed to win this fight. It's just a favor to boxing for the way he went about his career and the way Canelo went about his career.
Paulie Malignaggi voiced trust in Terrence Crawford's chances of success. He believes Crawford's professional trajectory and the way he has handled each stage of his climb have positioned him in the best situation to face Canelo Alvarez.
Can Terrence Crawford pull this off?
He definitely can. He has the ability to pull it off for sure. Now, it's going to be a tough task. You're talking about Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters ever. So I think Terrence is special, you know, and it's going to take it takes a special fighter to move up multiple weight classes and still dominate. And I think Terrence Crawford has the ability, not to say he'll dominate Canelo Alvarez, but I think he's special enough to where he can find a way to expose Canelo's flaws and pull it off. I just think he's a special enough fighter, and he's gifted enough, and he's smart enough to win a boxing match with.
Kevin Cunningham praised Crawford's brains and boxing ability, saying he had the tools to win despite the size disparity. He praised Canelo as one of the best fighters of all time, but feels Crawford can handle the step-up place, find weaknesses, and use his ring IQ to gain control in crucial moments.
I think what you'll see with Terrence is a boxer, but he's also going to try to beat up. He's going to get the respect of Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, he's going to box, but he's going to get his respect too, and he's going to be smart about it, you know. So I think he can. I really think Terrence can pull this off.
Kevin Cunningham also mentioned that Crawford will bring physical aggression in addition to technique. He wants Crawford to mix sharp boxing with assertiveness in the ring to get Canelo's respect early on and keep a competitive tempo throughout the fight. Eddie Hearn described this as a fight between two boxing icons, but he thinks Canelo has a considerable weight advantage. He mentioned that Crawford is not a naturally large fighter, even at 154 pounds, and that moving up to 168 pounds could test his limits. He acknowledged both fighters' great boxing IQs, but stated that Canelo's strength would be a significant advantage, especially if he starts the fight aggressively to stall Crawford's footwork.
It's a fantastic fight, you know, two generational greats, two pound-for-pound greats. I do think the weight will be too much for Terrence. I think even in the Madrimov fight, you saw that physically, I think he's, you know, even at 154, he's He's not a big 154. He's definitely not a big 160, and he's definitely not even a small 168. So, but he has got unbelievable skill, and he's got a huge boxing IQ. But so has Canelo Alvarez. So I do give him the edge in that fight.
Do we see a stoppage?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, wow.
If Canelo's active in the fight, depends. He's got to get to him early. Terence will be moving his feet, and Canelo won't like that. You know, he wants you to come and fight him.
Big E from WWE showed his enthusiasm for the fight, calling it a dream match for fans. He accepted Canelo's physical advantages, but questioned whether the years of competitiveness would catch up with him. While he knows the challenge, Big E believes Crawford will win by decision, noting his confidence in Crawford's resilience and determination.
Get Bud and Canelo. Can we please get Bud Crawford and Canelo? I don't know if we're gonna see it, but man, I think that's what damn near all fight fans want to see.
Who do you have in that fight? Break it down.
I don't know, man. I can't root against Bud right now. You wonder if Canelo and the miles start to catch up. It's a great fight. Obviously, Canelo's the bigger man, but seeing Bud put some weight on, I won't root against Bud. Gun to my head, I'll go Bud Crawford.
Dang. So how do you see it going? Decision, knockout?
A decision. I don't think he'd finish Canelo, but I think we see a decision. I was actually just watching the highlights of the Spence fight.
Ronnie Shields linked Crawford's expected game plan to Floyd Mayweather's previous performance against Canelo, noting how Mayweather employ movement and angles to counter pressure. Shields feels Crawford possesses the ability and intellect to do something similar, and sees that strategy is key to irritating and outboxing Canelo.
Has the power to maybe keep Canelo honest and maybe
you don't need power.
But just I'm just saying, I guess the aspect is Canelo's gonna want to press him, you know, at some point. But you know, Crawford likes to fight.
Okay, Canelo wanted to press Floyd too.
True.
He tried to. So I kept stepping around him. You know, kept looking for Floyd. You know, Floyd was right there. And then we'd just make one or two simple moves. Canelo had to reset. Floyd never had to reset. Boom, 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 step around. Boom, 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 step around. That was it. Trust me, Crawford's going to look at that. He's going to perfect that. And that's why I gave him a great shot.
Israel Madrimov predicts the result of the fight based on how it plays out. He thinks that if fight goes the distance, Crawford's tactics and ring management will give him an advantage. But if it ends in a knockout, he favors Canelo because of his heavy-handed power. He admires Crawford's all-around ability, but thinks the fight's outcome depends on its rhythm and flow.
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
Bout Barum agreed that the size differential is a significant aspect in this bout, but he thinks Crawford's superior skill set will make the difference. He admires Canelo's accomplishments, but thinks Crawford's skill and ring IQ offer him a legitimate chance to win despite losing a considerable amount of weight.
Or is it just 50-50? It's very, very hard because of the difference in weight. I would think that if I had to bet the fight, that I would bet Terence, because Terence has more skills than Canelo. But he's given away a lot of weight, a lot of real weight. So that matters. But again, Terence is a tremendously skilled fighter. So is Canelo a very skilled fighter. But he doesn't have the same skill set as Terence does.
Caleb Plant noted that Crawford's ability to fight in both stances and at all distances will be critical. He thinks Crawford's timing and ability to vary rhythms during the fight, paired with his power and ring acumen, can cause serious issues for Canelo.
Chance, I give him a chance. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, be able to find out firsthand.
Caleb Plant also gave Crawford advice, pushing him to stay true to his style and trust the skills that had gotten him this far. He underlined the significance of staying calm and focused during training camp and being psychologically prepared to respond to the time when the bell rings. Amir Khan believes Crawford will face a major problem in dealing with Canelo's recent improvements and performances. He thinks Canelo has improved technically over time and is still one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport, making this a difficult fight for Crawford.
Bro, remember, Crawford then is a big boy as well. Crawford's a big guy when it comes to a box fight. Yeah,
What do you think?
I think Crawford, in my opinion, but size might matter. But then again, I think since when I fought Canelo's become a better boxer. He started boxing more better. You know what I mean? Technical more. Especially against the last fight against Mangui. He boxed really well as well. And he's looking really good. He's still, a lot of people might say, oh, he's getting old, this, that, another. But no, Canelo's still a beast.
Jiren Butsanis voiced concern about Crawford's body's ability to withstand the 14-pound weight increase. He stated that gaining that much weight could have an influence on Crawford's speed and movement, which are usually his strongest advantages, and that the ramifications of the weight rise would not be obvious until fight night.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little difficult because you gotta, what are you gonna have to put on, like an extra 14 pounds? So he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. Like, it's just, you gotta add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that, moving up in weight, things like that. So it's a little harder, but I don't know. We'll see on fight night how he'll look.
Danny Garcia agreed that both Canelo and Crawford are great fighters, and the collision of styles is part of what makes the fight so compelling. He stated that Canelo's size of 168 will be a huge challenge for Crawford. But, regardless of the outcome, he views it as a big boxing event with international appeal. At the end of the day, there are two great, powerful warriors that think it makes sense and want to fight each other. Stylistically, he's a terrific fight, but Canelo is a huge dude, and I think it'll be difficult for anyone to beat him at 168 pounds. But it's obviously a big money fight, which is why we're all in Boston. So, what are your thoughts about this? Share your opinions in the comment area, and please subscribe and like if you liked it.